Apparently, Kevin Tracker feels so embarrassed after his loss in court that she chose to take his fight with Wendy Williams to another level. Word is on his desired road to demolish her opportunity for satisfaction by wearing her out with new claims and public shame. While this fixation on Wendy appeared to arrive at its peak, and obviously Kevin's pride doesn't allow him to quiet down since he's plotting how to make one more blow. Hey everybody, and welcome back to Celeb Live channel. I keep my eyes on the most talked about occasions in the entertainment biz and continuously present to you the most sultry updates. So the miserable story of Kevin Tracker appears to have proceeded, and he at long last shows his real essence. Sources guarantee that he is so embarrassed about his public embarrassment that chose to get back at Wendy on the grounds that as he accepts his hopeless life is her doing. Wow, this wreck is getting diverting. And if you would rather not miss a solitary snapshot of it, try to remain with me until the end. Clearly, since Kevin Tracker lost his provision case half a month prior, he can't rest calmly in light of the fact that he at long last understood that he had been played big time by his ex, Wendy Williams. And despite the fact that it wasn't Wendy's choice to quit sending him checks some way or another, Kevin faults her for making him unfortunate. That is the reason he is resolute to take their quarrel to a higher level and committed to destroy Wendy's life and coerce the cash that he assumes he merits. Well, Kevin unquestionably felt that his life was perfect with support, and surprisingly, flaunted about it on his Instagram while Wendy was wiped out and in recovery. Apparently, since they consented to divorce settlement installments, he unexpectedly quit thinking often about her prosperity at all in light of the fact that while his ex was in a real sense engaging for her life, Kevin was emptying with his paramour Sharina and pampering his infant little girl. And presently, when Wendy is in a good place again and continued on, his life goes to pieces. I guess that Kevin is desirous that the tables turn so quick, and keeping in mind that Wendy is dealing with new tasks, he is left with rejecting coins to cover his bills. And as Wendy herself stated, there is no more spot for Kevin Sr. in her life. The previous television has stated in one meeting, you realize I've been managing issues with habit liquor abuse, and I have an entirely different life that I made arrangements for myself and my child. Evidently, Kevin can't just acknowledge the way that his part in Wendy's life isn't generally so large as he attempts to envision. And the tables turn so rapidly after Wendy was in a good place again. He is persuaded that making him poor and hopeless was her thought starting from the start. And that is the reason he chose to quit professing to be a cherishing and caring ex and get crushed out anything he can from her, well thinking about that it was he who unleashed destruction in the marriage and bothered Wendy's addictions. Such a statement sounds basically venturesome. All through the whole 20 years of their marriage, Kevin really gave his all to totally destroy Wendy's well-being and prosperity. Groomers from far and wide suggest that it was Kevin's undertaking with Sharina that prompted her beginning drinking without balance, since she was essentially attempting to dull the agony of his unfairness. I mean, Wendy is positively a resilient lady. Yet how might you anticipate that somebody should get through the way that your significant other's darling lives only a couple of miles from your family house? And in particular, when you realize that this house was purchased for her with your cash, yet even the most grounded of us can break eventually. And for Wendy, this was the side child that Kevin chose to make with his escort. This was difficult to accept, and Wendy's concerns deteriorated after she had caught wind of it, as one source near the ex-couple stated the report about Kevin having a side child fragrance lustre past the brink, and she backslid. So on the off chance that Kevin follows his concerns up to the very start, he might see that he is the one to fault for his ongoing difficulties, not Wendy. Many individuals concur with me that Kevin was the underlying wellspring of his own monetary setbacks. And it's not simply karma, it's his own decisions. And how he had treated Wendy. One individual remarked he attempted to obliterate her with alcohol and medications, yet she's actually standing. And he's so angry with that, and someone else composed we should always remember he kicked her when she was in a real sense down Kelvin, is a client of victimizer karma viewed his location. Obviously, Kevin bombed as a mindful spouse, while Wendy was engaging the bunch of her issues, since he was excessively bustling, laying down with Serena, and giving her extravagance. And presently he thinks for even a moment to play the casualty in this story, and surprisingly, open his mouth and express something about vengeance. Wendy merits her entitlement to plot retribution against him, since even after the separation he was unable to leave her in harmony, and continually screwed with her existence with humiliating statements and activities. Like, you recall that story when he thought for even a second to credit his escort Serena for the Wendy show's prosperity. He purposefully recorded that video attempting to humiliate his ex, and realizing that she wouldn't generally care for it in this video statement, where he was referencing that it takes the entire group to make a show as large as the Wendy show he guaranteed. And I mean my entire group that incorporates my ongoing woman. Now, since it takes a town, I don't have the foggiest idea why this man continues to nibble a hand that had been taking care of him for over 20 years, since plainly he was residing in Wendy's shadow, this time wasting her well-deserved wealth, and, surprisingly, actually considering tolerating provision checks. After the separation, I mean everybody realized that Kevin and Serena have been siphoning off Wendy. So how dares he guarantee now that Wendy played him and demolished his life, and in any event, vowing to destroy her consequently. Definitely we as a whole heard him saying that he couldn't support his life and cover his bills, yet hello. This was really his shortcoming, not Wendy's. And I question anybody thinks often about the difficulties he faces, and the individual least worried about his monetary misfortunes is Wendy Williams herself. Said she has too much going on. Without his vindictive deeds, her continuous fight with Wells Fargo isn't finished at this point, and her child was removed from his condo. Yet for Kevin, these issues don't exist, since all that he can imagine is making more torment and destruction the individual who cherished and supported him. He thinks often just about the large numbers Wendy has in her bank, and wouldn't fret demolishing her life considerably more, since this is his real essence. A malignant and hopeless man. Fans are genuinely worried about Kevin's way of behaving in light of the fact that it's hazy what pernicious card he will play next time. One thing's without a doubt, and many individuals concur with me, that Kevin can't continue on, and concede that he is nobody without Wendy. And that is the reason he attempts to cut her down. One of my endorsers composed he behaves like he maintains that her should be penniless, busted, and unlimited, very much like him. Wendy have zero faith in him, under realized specific terms, if it's not too much trouble. Be exceptionally cautious, since right now he is frantic and frightening. Had another fan remarked, disappear Kevin, and quit asking, assume liability, stay with your new woman, and sort out your funds. Definitely.